Hi guys. I was sitting here actually sorting and putting away some paper that has been sitting out, and like this is the last two pieces of this paper pack, and so I was just looking at them, deciding what I wanted to do with them, and had some ideas, and so I made a couple things, actually three of the same thing, and then thought I pulled out some paper to make some more for some upcoming journals I have that I knew would match, and thought I would show you how I'm doing it, just in case you're interested. So this is like an envelope or a pocket, but it's not really. It's a faux pocket, a faux envelope. And there are so many variations, just different ways you could do them. I'm sure you're already thinking of them. This one is a solid piece of cardstock that is single-sided. So it's kind of Christmas. There's snowflakes back here. So the snowflakes would be the one side, white would be the other side. And then just glued onto it are these pieces and a little bit of glitzy for Christmas. So that's one way. Then this one is actually a piece of white cardstock with a piece of this paper glued on the whole outside, folded. So it is twice as thick. It's twice as strong. It did crack a little here. I just need to ink it. And that'll be covered and gone. I'm not concerned about that at all. And so then glued the same on the inside. I just glued the, actually I think it's the back of that one, and some kind of matching down here. This would be a place that you could write, and you could add decoration up here or down here, probably mostly down here, and then it wouldn't be in a way. And then I just picked an old grungy brass button that I had to go on that one. And then this one is, and these I was just grabbing offcuts and scraps that I had. So that's why the variation, but they're, they all, you know, kind of go together. So this one, this is one solid piece on the back, and then another piece on the front glued to it, so it is double thick. And then inside, the green piece is glued down first, and then this part that matches that part is glued down second. And then I was looking at all these little offcut corners and thought, you know, I should be able to use those. So I just layered. There was a larger offcut from here and then a smaller offcut from here. And so I just layered those, and I decided to leave those open so they could actually be tuck spots. So then my thought was, on this one, I could fold up a piece of coffee dyed paper and tuck it in there, close it up, and then put this into a journal. And then, so then when you open it up, you could write on this if you wanted to, and this one's maybe a little dark. I would with white gel pen or a Posca marker or something, but you could have some journaling paper just tucked right in there, ready to go. So that's the basic. I mean, it is really simple, really easy. I will show you. A lot of you'll be able to just see that and instantly know what to do, because it is not difficult at all. So I pulled out some groupings of paper that go together that would work with some upcoming books that I have. I'm going to start with this one. And you could possibly, depending on your paper, you could possibly do the whole thing with one sheet of paper, because this one's got so many different things on it and the back is different. I've got enough to do all the different places and have them. You don't want them all to be the same. There's just no interest, you know, in it all looking the same. So you could easily do this all with one piece of paper. But if I grab a second piece of paper, then I could use this side, which I really like, for 2 or 3, and make several of them, and then use this one to fill in. Now this is the back page, which I also really like, and I typically cut these small pages out, and then I'll use them on covers of mini books. But I also really like this. I like that there's some texture and some design here, but it's also nice and light. Could be put right there to write on. So I'm going to go ahead and use this, or at least part of it, to make one. Now, I know some of you like measurements, exact measurements, and there are times when I like exact measurements. So I'm going to try to give you exact measurements. And if it goes fairly quickly, then I'm going to go back and do another one that will go even faster without using measurements, and show you how to just quickly do it without using measurements. So if this is going to be the outside, so this outside of my envelope here, then I could look at this and decide what I want to be the outside. If it's the same size, that lobster would get cut in half if I did it right there. Of course, if I bumped it up just a little bit, the lobster would be right there on the cover, which is kind of cool. I do kind of like that. Actually, any place on here would really be awesome. So I like the whole thing, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so to start, we don't want to just cut a rectangle, and the rectangle is 5.5 by 8 1/4. So 5.5 wide by 8 1/4 long. So I am first going to go, let's see, I'm going to go to 8 1/4. I have my small paper trimmer, which goes to 6 1/4. So I'm going to find my 8 1/4 this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 1/4 right there. And let's see, there's not enough. Is there enough on the end here to do a flap? Probably not, but there is enough to do a center there with the back side. So, okay. If there wasn't enough, I was just going to bump it up a 1/2 inch and get that whole lobster on. But there isn't enough, so there isn't enough to do that and still be able to use it, so I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so where is my pencil mark? That's the first question. Right there, I think that's right. Yes, that is right. Right there's the pencil mark. So many marks on the paper, can't tell which one's the pencil. Now, ideally, I'd love to cut in here only 5.5, because that's all we have to do here. So I'm going to go to this side and get 5.5. And I'm going to leave, I just want to leave as much of this paper together as one piece as I can. And I can see that I'm about 1/4 inch shy of the 5.5. But I can also see exactly where that 8 1/4 is. So I cut right to that. And then I can come back. See if I can do this without tearing it. There, I'll just get that. Yeah, just like to leave as much of it together as possible, because then I can get other larger things out of it. Okay, so this is the outside of my envelope, like this. 5.5 wide, 8 1/4 tall. So now I need to cut the point. Well, if you've already got one like this, super easy just to lay it on, draw the points and cover it. But if you don't, if it's your first one, then what are you going to do? We're going to grab a pencil, and we know we want the point in the middle. I'm going to go to this side because it might be easier to see my marks. And if I know that that is 5.5 wide, then I know that the center is going to be 2 3/4. So I'm going to put a mark at 2 3/4. And then I know that the, let's see here. Is it 4 1/4? 4 1/4 up. 1, 2, 3, 4 1/4 up might be our fold. Should have written it all down, did it from memory. It's much easier just to start cutting, but I know how it is. I want to try to give you dimensions. Okay, so there's 4 1/4 from the bottom. So if this is going to be the direction that my envelope is going to go, like that, my point is going to be up here. I'm turning it over to this side. It doesn't matter because it's identical in cut, just because it's easier to see on this side. So there's my center point, and then I need to know that I've got the fold marked here, and I need to know this point right here because I want to only cut down to here. So my fold was 4 1/4, and then this point is going to be 6 inches. So if you're making notes as to where you should fold and cut, The center point was 2 3/4 because half of 5 1/2, and then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, exactly 6 inches, and I'm going to mark that. So I actually have 2 marks here, and the first one is to cut from the center to here, which gives me my point, and then the second one is where it's going to fold. So now I need to go over to the other side and mark on that side as well. I need one at 4 1/4, 1, 2, 3, 4 1/4, and the next one at 6, 5, 6. That's not right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, right there. Count too many. All right, so when I look at it, these should be directly across from each other, and they are. Okay, so now to cut my point, all I'm going to do is cut from this mark to this mark over here. Put my fingernail on it so I can tell where that mark is. Sometimes it gets hard to see. Just to the top of the point, and then get that mark right on the dot. And you know, it's handcrafted. We're not looking for perfection, we're looking for completed. Go over to the other side, and I'm going to go from the side mark again to the top point mark, side mark to top point mark. Okay, so there is my envelope. Okay, and I've got these 2 great little corners here that can be used for many things. I'll add them to my little scrap bucket here from the other ones that I made. And then I have the 2 marks here, and that is where it folds. So I just as well do that now. I'm going to use a scoring tool in hopes of helping it fold better and not crack. So you might just fold it over. I mean, you see exactly where it's supposed to go. You might just fold it over. Where's what happened to my bone folder? I did. Stuck it back in the container. Okay, so I'm going to go to that mark right there. And this one is down here. It should end up on the same mark down below. Yep. I don't need a big deep fold, just enough that I know where to fold. Okay, very cool. I love, oh, that's my outside, so I want to fold it the other way. Almost forgot. I'm like, whoa, I don't want to cover that up. I really like that. That's a really cool looking envelope. And maybe I can find a brass nautical button that would be really cool on it. Okay, so there we go. That is our basically our frame that you work on. So you could just leave it like that. You could draw in. Notice on this one there's some like stickles on there, but on these I decided not to put anything on it. It's kind of grungy, so I just took a Posca pen, I think it was, or a black marker, fine point, and I just drew. I used a ruler and just drew around it. You could also draw stitches. You could also actually sew it. You could do whatever you want to do on that. Okay, so this one is nice and folded here. Now we're going to add our center top, and then we're going to add our bottom and our writing space here, or we could make writing space and make a tuck here. So to strengthen it, make it a little thicker, since it's only one piece, I'm not covering the back. What I did on this one was cut this piece, the full rectangle, and cover the whole thing. That gave it extra strength. And then put this piece on top of it. So if I want to make pockets down here, then I might want to, I could do that. Let's see. I like this being, what have I got here? So that's not quite, almost, but not quite large enough. I do like it for the top if it'll work. I can leave a little border. Question is, do you leave a border or not? And that is completely up to you. If I leave a little bit of a border, this will work just perfectly. So I think I'm going to do that because I do like that top. I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting this one off. Just make sure it's aligned over here on a line. If that's straight, then I know this is straight. I don't have to get it down and up against the wall because that's awkward when you've got a big piece hanging out the side there. Okay, so this to go here. All right, so now how do I make that fit and leave a border? Several different ways you can do it, and you can actually just go to the center, make your mark, you know, measure this, make your mark there too. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it the easy way. I'm going to put it just slightly above, so that leaves my little bit of border on the bottom. I'm going to lay it down, and see the point is out here. That leaves just a little bit of point on the top too. Might need to leave just slightly bigger. It's going to have a little, maybe a little bit bigger on the top, and I'm okay with that because I really like the paper. I'm just going to mark it like that. That's a whole lot easier. Okay, so if I now cut these, and then you can just take an eraser and erase any of these marks and lines off if they're still there. If they don't get cut off, I just kind of wait. If they don't get cut off, then I will erase them. No big deal. Set that to the side for a minute. Okay, so I want this to go inside here. So right now, it fits perfectly. I actually could leave it like that. I don't need to trim it in with a border. See, you can change your mind on these things all the time. I could leave the border on the bottom, but let it go here, and it's missing just the tip, but you don't even notice because this is all part of the same paper. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to let it go all the way to the outside because I do love that paper. Okay, so that'll be on there. Now for the bottom, I like having some writing space on the top. So here's where you could decide, okay, this is thick enough. I can leave it like this, and this could be writing space. And I could just use corners that we cut off. Not sure where these were cut off. You can look, you can either put this here or here. That's upside down. Doesn't really matter. If you put them one direction, they're going to meet in the middle. If you put them the other direction, they're not. So if I put them that direction, it could be written on here, and I could leave these as a tuck spot. If I flip them over and do it this way, they will meet in the middle. I could still leave them as a tuck spot. Totally up to you. So you can just decide which look do you like better, or does it matter. It's obvious that that's upside down there. Here on its side, it just doesn't glare at me so much. So on this one, I'm going to turn them on their side and let that be a space in the middle. Before I glue those down, I just need to decide if I'm going to put another piece of paper in the center or just let it be. And I'm thinking I might just let it be. If I just let it be, and then I plan on adding a piece of ledger paper or coffee dyed paper that is tucked in here as journal space, I think that would be nice. So I'm going to leave that. Let's go ahead and get these glued down then. So I always put my thumb on the side that I don't want glue on. It's just too easy to glue all the sides. You start gluing and you forget which side you're not supposed to glue. So I put my finger and my thumb on the side I don't want glue, and that just reminds me. Okay, so I did just a tiny bead of glue on the two outside edges. If this goes over one edge, I'm not going to worry about that, because as soon as that glue's dry, I can trim that up a bit. And then this one's going to go here, so I don't want glue here. So we'll get a tiny bead right here. I can't cut a straight line with scissors, and I can't glue a straight line. Good thing it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm better with a paper trimmer than scissors, so even on small things. Okay, so get that. Make sure that that is not over like that, but all the way to the edge. I can still move it. So let's get that lined up. Yeah, that's very cool. That just, I mean, I'd say it looks like water, but it is water. In the picture, it's supposed to be water. So I'm going to erase my little marks right here that did not get cut off. I tend to go right down the middle of the mark, so there's something always left there. And I'm going to put this up here, and I'm going to glue the entire thing down. So with one sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11 or 12 by 12, that has multiple designs or elements on one side, and then something different on the opposite side, you absolutely could do this with one piece of paper. If you have a piece of double-sided paper, one side is solid, and you want to then grab another piece that has a contrasting pattern, two pieces, and you can get multiples out of both pieces. One will be the elements to decorate, and one will be the base, and then you can flip them and use the other one for the base and the other one for the elements, because you'll have enough to do both. So that's kind of cool right there. I may even do some stitching on that. However, I may do it with a pen. Let's see if we can find a button. I'm just going to grab a little box here so I have buttons all over the desk. Let me put the pin back in the glue real quickly. Maybe. Okay. I'll pour out a few buttons. Oh, I see a couple. Yep, I knew there was some. I hope this was the jar there was some in. So there is one, and it's actually pretty flat. If you have one that has there's one that's quite a bit smaller that does not have the nautical. I do like this because it has the anchor on it. I could probably take that and smash it down some. When it has, oh gee, what is it called? The words leave you when you do this. Sticking up. Anyway, all I do is take a pair of like jewelry or wire nippers. I'll just do this and then just cut that off. If it's plastic, it comes off real easily. If it's metal, usually pinches together, and then you might have to bend it back and forth, but they come off pretty darn easily. So let's just see if this has any flexibility to go down. Not really. Okay, so that's all right. I'm just going to glue it on anyway. Unless there's another one that's flatter, that's actually not bad. No, that there were several, and there's another one right there. Let's take a quick look at that. Oh, that one's a little bit smaller. Sometimes I like the large button. All right, let's see if we can cut that off, and I'll make it just a little bit flatter, because I know it's going to go in a journal. Flatter is better. Okay, just squeeze it together, and it is metal, so it squeezes together and then sits there. So then I just grab hold of it and bend it once or twice, and it comes right off. All right, and then I'm going to just try to bend together any sharp points that are here. I don't like grabbing hold of it like this, because you can easily put marks on the front, and I really don't want to do that. But I don't want the sharp points to end up going through the paper. I would not want anybody to get poked by that. So I will use Fabri-Tac for this. Hot glue gun is perfect for this as well. I don't always have mine at my side and plugged in ready to go, because I really don't use it that often. So Fabri-Tac is handy. We'll do that. And I'm going to put a nice big glop of Fabri-Tac on, because it is super easy for it to spread around and then create kind of a cushion in there, which will also help protect from those sharp edges. So turn it the direction I want, place it where I want it, and I will set something on that to keep that down. All right, so let me move the rest of these out of the way. So it doesn't take too long to make it. It takes longer to explain it, tell you about it, than it did to actually make it. So now that I have one, and honestly, what you might do is take a piece of cardstock or light chipboard or acetate, something that'll last a while, and lay this down and draw around it and make yourself a template. With that template, you can just put it down and trace it all the time, and that can last you forever. So this one has maps all over, and I think that that would be cool. So that will go with several journals that I'll have coming up. So all I'm going to do is lay it down as if it was my template. I will make a template probably out of chipboard. Light chipboard would be super easy. Get the edges straight on the edge. That'll make everything else easier. Okay, and if you move it and cut it wrong or mark it wrong or cut it wrong, doesn't matter. You can trim it up and make it squared later. Again, it's just paper, no worries. And then I'm going to make a, I won't do it live here, but I'm going to cut the dimensions in half and make a small one, and then see how that goes, and then maybe even cut it in half from there and make a teeny tiny one. I think it would be super cute as a teeny tiny little envelope. So let's see. Actually, I'm going to take that all the way up. Where's the point? They meet right there. Okay, basically to the end of this. And then I'm going to cut off the whole thing and then do my point. Where's the point? Okay. Can't hardly see because there are so many lines from the map on there. And this paper came out of the same paper pack. And I thought if this is the outside, that might be cool inside. And this would be really cool, this grungy lined paper. I mean, like when the paper's grungy, I don't even need to ink it if you're into inking. And if you're not, I actually pulled out some black and white and pink and some flowers and even butterflies to make a couple for a couple other journals. All right, so all I have to do is go straight to my mark, got the whole line there, go to the other one, got the whole line there, boom, you've got your envelope. So then I can, again, just put this down. Doesn't matter which direction because it's all the same. All I need is just a tiny bit of visibility on the bottom one, right? I need to know where it folds, and I need to know where to cut it. Oh, no, I don't. I already did that. Never mind. I just need to know where it folds. Okay, so tiny bit of visibility here, and where it folds. And made the marks on this side. As long as I can see my marks. Where are my marks? Right here. There's a mark. Get it on straight. There we go. Oh, there we go. Came out right at the mark on the bottom. I'll go ahead and just erase those marks right now. Not that they probably would even be seen. Right there. I can't even find them. How's anybody else going to see me there? There's our fold. I mean, honestly, you could just do it like that. You could stitch around it. You could, if you really like the paper, it just kind of finishes up a little bit to add some of the other things on. But if you really like the paper, you could leave it like that. You could put some corners on it like this and use it for a tuck. You could actually put a strip straight across it. You know, basic envelopes. It's just a variation of an envelope that we've done before. I do think that I would like to have this as writing on the back. So I think if I just cut it rectangle, this rectangle where it folds, if I leave a little space up there, that is 4 by, we know that this is 5 1/4, right? Or 5 1/2, yep, 4 by 5 1/2. So all I have to do is cut a 4, and go all the way across. here to do more than one. 4, 5, 5.5. Okay. I can put that right there. Might turn that upside down. I still do kind of like grunge, and I don't want to let that get totally covered. If I put that like that, and then, man, I need my tweezers. I can't get underneath these pieces of paper. They stick to this mat. Put that one there. Oh, that's cool on both sides. What's on the other side of that? That's the same. Okay, and that one there. Or could flip them. Put this one here. And this one here. Okay, and let's see. Left over from that is this. If I wanted to put that up top. Ooh, I like that. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. That would be really nice to have right there. That actually would be a cool journal card too. It's a good size for that. So I might not use that, although it would be really cool. Oh, don't be a tourist, be a traveler. A lot of good stuff right there that I could cut out and put at the top. Or I could put some more of the map that is on the back. I'm liking this. I think that don't be a tourist, be a traveler can fit on there, and honestly, I'm just eyeballing it. Let's see, I know it's 5.5 wide, so I can just make that 5.5. I was going to eyeball it, but why bother? I know it's 5.5 wide. Okay, and how tall is that? To that little mark right there. If that's driving you crazy, that I'm just looking at it and then cutting it, feel free to use the measurements or to continue to measure it yourself and do it. But honestly, it's so much faster. You could whip out a whole bunch like this, and sometimes I really like to do it that way. So I'm going to, these would match the back. Okay, so to get my point up here, I'm even going to take that the easy way. I'm going to glue it on, and I know it's gluing on the top over the whole thing. I'm not going to leave a border. Make sure it's on the direction that I want it. Get it at the fold. I'm actually going to fold it all the way down to make sure that it can fold, that it's not so tight in there that it impedes the fold. I'm a little bit off to the side, so I want to get it. Okay, let me fold it again. Make sure I have plenty of fold room. There we go. Okay, now just press it down. Okay, we're going to cut off our don't be a tourist, be a traveler. Could have taken the middle of that section out, but it's all cool paper, so didn't want to waste that. All right, this is going to go right here. So let's get some of this glue off the tip and glue this one down. So if you're not already a member of Happy Paper People Facebook group, I invite you to join us over there. It is a wonderful group of people, creators, all kinds of art, all kinds of crafts. We encourage all kinds, and we support and are inspired by all kinds of artists and crafters. And it is a safe place to be able to post your creations and know that know that it is a safe place. We keep it a private group so that it remains that. So if you would like a safe place to receive inspiration and positive feedback, not even feedback, but no feedback unless you ask for it, positive comments on the things that you post, and a great deal of support, this might be the group for you. It is an amazing group of people. And we have an October retreat coming up. We do retreats once in the fall, once in the spring. They are held just outside of Salt Lake City, Utah. If you are interested in a week-long retreat, they are absolutely amazing. A week long with happy paper people. Check out the link in the description box that is about retreat. It says retreat registration, but go ahead and click on it because it'll give you all the details. There's also details pinned in a feature post at the top of Happy Paper People Facebook group. And lastly, but not least, we have just recently opened up our YouTube membership club. We're no longer on Patreon, and I've gotten a lot of feedback that people would really like to have Patreon because we had so much fun there. But I chose to bring it to YouTube so everything is kind of together here, and to make only one level. There's only one level, $4.99 a month, and we'll have some amazing stuff coming. The people who are part of the membership on YouTube will get first option on things like retreat, clearance sales, weekend workshops, stuff like that. Some amazing benefits. You'll get some private videos. Now I've noticed that I put the top on crooked. I've got a bigger gap over here than over here. May not bother some. It'll drive me a little bit batty. So I'm just going to take this piece of washi that is just vintage and in the same type of colors, and I'm just going to glue it across there, and that will kind of not make that blue stand out. It'll just kind of soften it up, so maybe you don't notice that I glued that on crooked. That's what I get when I'm trying to hurry online, but that's okay. There's always a way to fix it, right? That's the thing. It's just paper. There's always a way to fix it. And believe me, I came into this type of paper crafts a few years ago, probably the most nervous of anybody of breaking the blank page or making a mistake, ruining a piece of paper because of my childhood. So I totally understand, and I've heard people say a million times, it's just paper, just do it. If you don't like it, throw it away. And I finally just said, it's just paper, just do it. And it is so freeing to allow yourself to just do it, because it is just paper. And you know that you can throw it away, and it's just a piece of paper. But then they taught me that there's always a way to fix everything. So just like that, if you don't like what's showing there, we'll put a piece of vintage washi. Washi is not intended to stick forever. It's intended to be removable. So I put a little bit of glue with it. Let's see if we can really quickly find a button to go on this one, and we'll call it good right there. That could also use one of those brass buttons that is nautical, but maybe not, maybe something different. Oh, that one's kind of cool. Have to pinch off. I will pinch that off and we'll put that on. Easy enough. It's small. I don't know why I keep picking up these small ones, because in my mind I was thinking a great big button would look really cool. And I still think it would. So come join us at Happy Paper People in Facebook, and subscribe, share, like, join us on our lives. We do lives every week here on YouTube. So once you subscribe, you will get the notifications of upcoming lives. And if you do join the Facebook group, you will get notifications in the Facebook group every time there are lives planned. So you can choose what you want to attend or what you want to watch later, as far as activities that are going live. So we welcome you and look forward to meeting you. So I'll put that down there, and there we go. And I'm going to call it good with that. With that, we've got the two of these that we whipped up there. One with measurements, one without, just tracing. Make yourself a quick template, and you can make these over and over again. And they're pretty quick to whip up if you don't have to measure every single time. So have fun making them. What do we call them? What do we call them? A little, I don't know, a faux pocket. It's like a faux pocket or a faux envelope. I'll call it a faux envelope. That sounds about right. So do post your pictures in Happy Paper People Facebook group when you make some. I would love to see the variations that you do on them and give me some new and additional ideas for others that I will be making. So have a great day. Thanks for joining me, and we'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.